Did you get that information that KSM was sending operatives to the United States for a possible domestic attack?
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall. So you are, your title is, and I'm trying to understand it, is the Chief of the Strategic Terrorism Assessments Alternative Analysis Group, Office of Terrorism Analysis at the DCI Counterterrorism Center at CTC.
Correct.
So CTC, the chief here, does not receive any type of information in June, a cable or information coming
First of all,
in?
I'm not the chief of CTC.
Okay.
I'm one unit within.
Chief of the Strategic Terrorism Assessments Alternative Analysis Group.
Right.
Okay.
And I can't comment on what other people within the center might have received, but I myself did not.
So you did not receive any kind of a cable or warning or message or anything else talking about KSM possibly sending in operatives to the United States?
That's correct.
And you're categorically saying you don't remember it, you don't recall it, or you didn't receive, you didn't see it?
I don't recall ever receiving such information.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his followers played a major role in several Islamist extremist plots before the attacks of September 11th. These plots are notable for the large number of casualties they sought to create, the use of airplanes, and focus on symbolic targets such as the World Trade Center and U.S. government facilities, all characteristics of the September 11 attacks. Investigators determined in 1995 that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was linked to the February 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. Federal prosecutors gave CIA a copy of a financial wire transfer for $660 between Qatar and the United States, dated several days before the blast, from a Khalid Sheikh in Doha to Mohammed Salami, one of the 4 defendants convicted in the World Trade Center bombing. With additional information that emerged from the Philippines investigation described below, the CIA was able to determine that Khalid was Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was an uncle of Ramzi Youssef, the mastermind of the first World Trade Center bombing plot, and that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had married the sister of Youssef's wife. In 1995, Youssef's plots to bomb 12 U.S. airplanes flying Asian routes to kill the Pope and crash a plane into CIA headquarters were thwarted by Philippine police when a fire erupted in an apartment where Youssef was preparing explosives. The police seized a list of names and telephone numbers and found a notation for Khalid Doha, with telephone and facility numbers in Qatar. Yet another link to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was made when Youssef, who was apprehended shortly after fleeing the Philippines, made a call from detention to Qatar and asked to speak with Khalid. This number was similar to the one by the Philippine police. The intelligence community agencies worked together to apprehend Khalid Sheikh Mohammed during his time in Qatar and in the Balkans. However, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's frequent travels and the slow pace of efforts to learn his whereabouts redacted. It was determined that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was a top priority. The FBI was poised to take a photograph abroad for identification purposes. If Khalid Sheikh Mohammed were identified from the photograph, an indictment would be sought. On December 30th, 1995, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was identified from the photograph, and he was indicted by a New York City grand jury in January of 1996. The indictment was sealed and would be opened once Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was in custody. The intelligence community was not sure of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's alliances. For example, a December 1995 CIA cable stated, quote, "As far as we know, Youssef and his confederates, such as Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, are not allied with an organized terrorist group, cannot readily call upon such an organized unit to execute retaliatory strikes against the United States or countries that have cooperated with the United States in the extradition of Youssef and his associates," end quote. This assessment changed in 1996 when a foreign government shared information that bin Laden and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had traveled together to a foreign country the previous year. In August 1998, after the bombing of the U.S. embassies in Nairobi in Kenya, another foreign government sent the CIA a list of names of individuals who flew into Nairobi before the attack. Based on information delivered by another liaison service, CIA recognized that one of the passengers' names was an alias for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Liaison report also described Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as close to bin Laden. In an interview, the FBI agent responsible for the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed case could not remember the information, even though it had been disseminated by the CIA. This information and subsequent reporting led the CIA to see Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as part of bin Laden's organization. Several CIA cables indicated the follow-up on information relating to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was essential, given his past activities and his links to al-Qaeda. Though Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had numerous links to the United States, it appears that information concerning such links was difficult to discover and did not generate an aggressive response. The intelligence community knew that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had attended college in the United States in the 1980s. Both the CIA and FBI tried to track this down, but they were unsuccessful until the Kuwaitis published information in the media. CIA disseminated a report that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had traveled to the United States as recently as May of 2001, was sending recruits to the United States to meet colleagues already in the country, did not cause the intelligence community to mobilize, even though it contained apparently significant information. The report explained that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was a relative of convicted World Trade Center bomber Ramzi Youssef, appeared to be one of the bin Laden's most trusted lieutenants, and was active in recruiting people to travel outside of Afghanistan, including the United States, to carry out unspecified activities on behalf of bin Laden. According to the report, he continued to travel frequently to the United States, including as recently as May of 2001, and routinely told others that he could arrange their entry into the United States as well. Reportedly, these individuals were expected to establish contact with colleagues already there. The clear implication of his comments, according to the report, was that they would be engaged in planning terrorist activities. CIA did not find the report credible, but noted that it was worth pursuing in case it was accurate. If it is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, we have both a significant threat and an opportunity to pick him up. The joint inquiry requested that CIA review this particular source report and provide information concerning how the Counterterrorism Center, CIA's field personnel, and other agencies reacted to the information. That information had not been received.